So can I do Anavar for only 4 weeks, or do oral cycles need to be around 8 weeks? I wouldn't do it for only 4 weeks. The reason is, when you think about, okay, what is possible in 4 weeks? Really consider, how much muscle do you need? Are we talking like do you expect to build a pound in 4 weeks? You're going to build 1/4 pound of muscle each week, consistently in 4 weeks. Are you a brand new athlete? Have you never touched a weight in your life? Okay, even then, do you only need a pound? And I'm using a pound like that's an exaggeration. That is like that I don't believe you could achieve. Even then, do you need a pound? Is a pound all you need? Okay, well, if you need it, like fucking, you're in this like just tiny, narrow demographic of individuals where maybe I guess it could make sense. But truly, I don't think that's going to be the case for most people. I think a lot of people, what they're going to find is they need enough muscle, and that in 4 weeks, that is not enough time to yield the amount of muscle that they need. So then you look at 8 weeks. Okay, 8 weeks is the upper limit. That's like past that. How many pounds do you need? Do you need 2 pounds? Do you need 3 pounds? Like, the point I'm trying to get at is like the cycle. Okay, if we're talking about an athlete who's getting on stage, okay, cool. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe for your division, even for bikini, it's like, okay, like you need more muscle. I'm going to need more muscle. Maybe I'm going to do a cycle. But in that case, it's like, I've done everything I can up until I'm not on cycle. I'm not planning cycle right now. I've done everything I can up until now in a growth phase, like in a true fucking like just strict growth phase, to yield as much progress as I can, so that if I only gain 1-2 pounds in an 8-week cycle, which would be incredible, frankly, like I've been training a long time, like, yeah, incorrectly, but like that would be marvelous. If that was the only opportunity to grow, if I hadn't been doing what I've been doing literally since May. Well, no, I dieted during that. I take that back. Like, I really didn't even start that growth phase until October. So we're talking like 3.5 months, like maybe. Like, yeah, I pulled out some progress. But even then, like, if I wasn't doing things correctly at that point, then why would I all of a sudden just start doing things correctly? So that's another angle. That's another argument I would take if I'm a coach, or if you're wanting to argue this. I like arguing this because I'm like, this is just too easy. You're not doing things correctly right now. If you don't have an idea of whether or not progress is slowed, this is the real question. This is the real question. If progress has not slowed, why are we considering the anabolic? Is there a deadline? Is there something that is so pressing that you need to have the anabolic in place? Are we talking about a competitive athlete? Are we talking about an athlete who's going to be on the national stage, who's a pro? These are all potential justifications, but are we talking about an amateur athlete? Are we talking about an athlete who hasn't even been through a full growth season? If you can't answer whether or not progress is slowed, and if the answer is not yes, then really we shouldn't be having this conversation, because why would all of a sudden you be able to just do things correctly with the anabolic in place? If you're not doing things correctly without the anabolic in place, why put the anabolic in place? For motivation? Like that's that's dumb. 8 weeks, I wouldn't go past that. And with all this being said, I would still make sure that your testosterone is in a range that it can support growth. Don't take the anabolic. Don't do that if ultimately you have suppressed levels, because you're not going to be able to get as much out of it as you could. And that doesn't mean necessarily starting TRT. That could mean starting DHEA, boron. That could mean, I don't know, taking some fucking time off competing and just putting yourself in a position to try to restore levels naturally. Or it could mean starting TRT.